and underemployment of youths is largely due to many graduates and young school leavers not having the basic skills for employment. Having a university or polytechnic degree certificate is not just enough. In the highly competitive, on us as an organization to ensure our youth members graduating from institutions of learning with the necessary workability skills to the potential employers. Carried out by the Office of the Youth Secretary that participated in that survey cited unemployment as their challenges. This called for an urgent need to look into various projects that will promote livelihood as it is in line with the health agenda of this administration. So the project, this was what led to the establishment of the employability skill set. And the project will focus on two major aspects. Employability enhancement, skill development, and sustainable employment, that's employment generation for youth members. The skill development project aims to create the demand of the skilled workforce for the youth in various industries by way of carrying out job mapping drives and making the candidates competent and skilled to perform the job. So the objective of the employability skill set basically is to build more informed graduates that have distinct employment and workability skills from among the members of Nasfat and Muslims in general. And also to create a platform where young graduates and undergraduates of Nasfat will be trained on employability skill sets to encourage the youth on professionalism and career development. And lastly, to introduce young graduates to opportunities in their chosen career. In light of this, the youth wing has had the first series and the second series of the employability skill set, specifically in Ota, Ogun State, and Oshogbo in Osun State before the lockdown. And now resort to us having the series 3 virtually. In this series now, we've gone a step further to partner with Jobberman so as to create opportunity for our members to be trained with some soft skills that no school would have trained them on, but we'll be partnering with members. Also, will be enlisted. So this webinar is to open the minds of webinar. Thank you very much. Take your time, relax, and learn from various panelists that will be discussing on our team today. Get the skills, get the slot. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much for that wonderful and brief overview of the program. From his brief overview, he has made us to know that this program is set to equip us with the skills we need to stand out in the crowd. I think sometimes we might be imagining, despite our sound educational background, our vast skills and experience, we submit our CVs to a couple of companies but not even get a feedback. What is that skill we are missing that makes them not to call us? I believe that's why we have 3 panelists today, one from the academia, one from the employer, and one from the recruiter. that we are going to interview so that we get that skills we've been missing. From the, do we have Alhaji Dawood in the house so that we can have the opening remark, or we should proceed with the program? All right, let's get the program starting. Then from the academia, we have Dr. Unisa Olamuyiwa Ganiu, who have almost a year and a half decade as experience in lecturing in the Department of Banking and Finance, Olabisi Onabanjo University, Agoiwoyi. He possesses his first degree in accounting, master's degree in economics, and PhD in finance. He has worked as a research fellow at National Institute of Legislative and Democratic Study, National Assembly, and currently he is a managing partner at AFGA Consulting Limited. And he's here with us this morning to share his expert opinion on the skills that we're supposed to have had from the grassroots or we have missed from the grassroots. Dr. Unisa, please help us say hi to the participants. Dr. Unisa, are you with us? Assalamu alaikum. Dr. India, please help us say hi to the participants. Okay. I believe that might be. Hello. Alhaji Dawood, do you want to give us the opening remarks since you're back before we move forward?
Yes. A'udhu billahi minash shaitani rajim. Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. I hope you can all hear me very well.
Yes, we are hearing you, sir.
Thank you very much. I bring glad tidings from A'udhu billahi minash shaitani rajim. Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Allahumma salli ala Sayyidina Muhammadi wa ala
Yes, we can hear you, sir.
Kama sallaita ala Sayyidina Ibrahim wa ala ali Sayyidina Ibrahim fil alamin innaka Hamidum Majid. I bring glad tidings from the National President of Nasrul Fati, in the person of Alhaji Olani Mumuni Yusuf, and other National Executive Council members of that great society, to wish you well on this yet another knowledge sharing opportunities among the several ones we have created for our teeming youths. This program is coming at a time that when our youth needs to be fully engaged and fully prepared against the happenstance in the nearest future. You agree with me that it's not just the educational qualification that makes a better employee, but there are some hidden skills that you also need to add to it that make you more available, more prosperous, and more fit for the employability gap. So on behalf of the society, I want to wish you well. I want to say that you have our support on this program and several other programs that you'll be planning for our CB members in this youth wing. Once again, we thank you for this effort. We thank all the panelists for their time, for the resources. We thank the youth also for their initiative. Amongst other initiatives that they've done, they've created a window of opportunities for our teeming youths. We want to reassure you that if you look back, you'll find us behind you. And before I close, I also want to say, without missing words, that society also commiserate with all those who have lost their loved ones in this mayhem in the last few days. We pray that the Almighty Allah will accept their homecoming and will strengthen the family members left behind. Once again, I say Salamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi ta'ala barakatuh.
Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Thank you, sir, for that brief opening remark. May Almighty Allah continue to increase you in wealth, health, and knowledge.
Amen.
So, officially, the program is starting proper now because it's the opening remark we've been waiting for. So now we'll come back to the introduction of the panelists again. I'll start. It looks like our doctor is back.
Yeah, I'm back. I had some problem with my system initially. I'm back.
All right, sir. All right, sir. I will come with the bio again. From the academia, We said we have Dr. Unisa Olamuyiwa, who has almost a year and a decade experience as a lecturer in the Department of Banking and Finance, Olabisi Onabanjo University, Agoyewoyi. He possesses his first degree in accounting, master's in economics, and doctorate in finance. He has worked as a research fellow at National Institute for Legislative and Democratic Studies, National Assembly, and currently he is the managing partner of AFGA Consulting Limited. And he's here with us this morning to share his expert opinion on the skills that we have missed from the grassroots, or we're supposed to have from the grassroots, the employability skill set, of course. Please help us say hi to the participants. Dr. Muyo. It's nice to have you here with us this morning, sir.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
Second of the panel. All right, sir. From the panelist session, from the recruiter, we're having Mr. Damilola Abdullahi Odubanjo, who is currently the Youth Engagement Associate at Joberman. Mr. Damilola is an alumnus of Dublin Business School, Ireland, where he graduated with Masters of Business Administration in Project Management and Strategies of Human Resources Management. He has several years of experience in stakeholder management, and he's with us this morning to share his expert experience on what is it they look for in an aspiring employee before recommending them to an employer. Mr. Damilola, please help us say hi to our participants.
Hello, good morning, everyone. It's great to be here, and I'm looking forward to an amazing section.
Same here too, sir. You're welcome. We're happy to have you too, sir. And last but not the least, we have a CEO in the house, in person of Mr. Taufik Babayeju, who is a seasoned professional with over 20 years experience in project management, technology, and business consulting. He has his Master's of Business Administration from Lagos Business School, and of course, his first degree in Physics Science from Lagos State University. He has acquired extensive education from renowned institutions such as Harvard Business School, ISC Business School, EDC, Pan-Atlantic University, and so many other universities, which has left him with several global certificates. Mr. Taufik has extensive management experience while delivering values and solutions across different sectors, such as telecommunication, IT, health, finance, development, agriculture, education, government, SMEs, to mention but a few. He has been consulted from top organizations to lead several high-impact projects. Like he was a project director to set up an enterprise project management at Nigerian Economic Summit Group. He was an employment director in information security management at Federal Inland Revenue Service. He has also served as an engagement lead in the establishment of enterprise program management function with CBN. He has served as project management in the performance review of 17.4 billion CBN capital projects. He has also served as a change manager in geographic information system for Ogun State and so many other high impact projects. He specializes in innovative ideas to solve complex problems and improve business performance. And he's here with us this morning to share his expert experience on what is it they look for in an aspiring member. Mr. Taufik, please help us say hi to the attendees.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Thank you very much for having me. I look forward to a very engaging session. Thank you.
We're happy to have you too here, sir. And with this, I'll ask all the attendees to please give your full attention to these three prominent panelists, as Brother Mustafa Yusuf will be handling the interview session. And don't forget to note down your question, as there's a section for question and answering session. Brother Mustafa, please, you have the floor.
Okay, thank you very much, Brother Ibrahim Baramasi, for the wonderful coordination so far. I want to believe we've been having a nice time with him. Good morning, good afternoon from wherever you're joining us all over the world. My name is Abubakar Mustafa, and I'll be handling the panelist session. Like the earlier moderator said, we're having three prominent panelists from the value chain of employment, as we want to call it, the academic, the recruiting, as well as the CEO. So these are the combinations that we want to believe gives rise to whatever employment evaluation we have in the country at least. So right now, thank you, Dr. Unisa, Mr. Damilola, and Mr. Taufik for joining us. Thank you very much. We appreciate your time. I want to start with you, Dr. Unisa. Before we start, if you have any questions, kindly put them in the chat session. We are going to attend to it afterwards. Dr. Unisa, graduates of our institution have been of questionable technical know-how in various fields. How do you think this problem can be addressed?
Okay, thank you very much. Thank you for having me, for giving me this opportunity to share my thoughts with the youth wing of Nasfat. I think this novel idea is going to go a long way to actually help our youth to be able to navigate the world of work easily. The issue of technical skill and how to improve the quality of our graduates. If we look at it very well, there are several systemic problems that culminate into having graduates, particularly from Nigerian higher institutions, that have challenges in terms of technical skills or getting ready for the workplace. The bulk of those problems are actually from the kind of curriculum that we have in most of our tertiary institutions, particularly the university. If you look back, the curriculum that is still being implemented in most of our universities today, curriculum developed since 2007. 2007, and that was the curriculum foisted on the university system, for instance, by the National Universities Commission, because they are the regulatory body. They set the minimum benchmark on what to teach in universities. So I learned recently there is a move to actually improve on the quality of the curriculum to match up with new realities, but it's still at the infant stage. So that's, you cannot, the system is input output process. So it is what the curriculum specified by regulators that you are expected to teach. And each time from the university, we often review some of these things. So it's minimum benchmark. We try as much as possible to improve to hard to rate so that our teaching will meet current realities. So that's one challenge that the university system is facing, regulating and over-regulating the system. Ideally, the issue of curriculum is supposed to be a Senate university decision. We are supposed to determine what we want to teach, but they claim to be the minimum benchmark. So that's the challenge. So there is a need for the curriculum to be restructured and developed such that it can meet the need of industries, such that what our graduates will be learning will be something that will be very relevant for the workplace. Also, why we have low technical capacity amongst our graduates and the quality that we turn out for most of our higher institutions. There are also some institutional challenges, even from the part of those lecturers in the university. It's not sufficient to have the qualifications. The experience also matters, particularly industry-relevant experiences. It's not just you teaching in this time and age, theories. There's a need for a blend of theories and practical.
Yes.
So
Doctor,
the technical challenge.
Doctor, thank you very much. I got your point there. But that brings me to the second question about experience in as part of the ingredients required. We have this IT that we normally go for, maybe year 4 and year 3 in some cases. So how effective has that been? I mean, in adding experience, or we just have students going to get one paper from anywhere? How effective has that been?
Yes, I think the university system has really tried in that regard. Every university has a CWES department or directorate that monitors our industrial attach rate. But the reality is that CWES or industrial attachment is not applicable to all disciplines in the university. For instance, except for some few courses in social and management sciences, I know majority of the courses in sciences and engineering, they go for CWES for 1 semester or 2 semesters, as the case may be. But there are a lot of other courses that CWES is not designed in the curriculum. For instance, you study accounting in the university, or you study banking and finance, CWES used to be part of it. But the new curriculum as designed does not make provision for CWES, except students have long holiday that they can actually volunteer to go and get some experiences with some employers to have experience. But monitoring, to a large extent, in most higher institutions, is actually well monitored. And most of the students that go for CWES, those are studying engineering, chemistry, they use it to get some experiences and form a career path.
Okay. Thank you, Doctor. I will come back to you in a bit. I will go to Mr. Damilola now from Jobberman to Mr. Damilola, are you with us?
Yes, I am.
Yeah, okay. So Jobberman is a household name for some of us, but for maybe some other persons on this call, they don't know what is Jobberman and what do they do.
Okay, yes. Okay, thank you very much for that. I really appreciate being on this section today. Yeah, so basically, so I think we know a bit about Jobberman. So I'll just give you a very short description of what we actually do. So Jobberman is the #1 online recruitment platform in Nigeria and sub-Saharan Africa, right? And our job basically is to create opportunities to link up employers and job seekers and vice versa. We have over 60,000 employers on our and over 2 million job seekers. Basically, our job is a portal where employers can actually put jobs looking to hire competent candidates, and candidates can also come on our platform to look for jobs. So we have jobs in all the industries, right? We have thousands of jobs on our platform where job seekers can actually come and look for jobs. So basically that's what Jobberman does, right? Yeah. And so okay, yeah.
Go ahead, I'm with you.
Yes, so I just want to quickly explain my part of Jobberman, youth engagement, right? So youth engagement is a new arm of Jobberman. And basically what we do is we just signed a partnership with Mastercard Foundation. And basically what we do, or what our aim is at youth engagement, is to ensure that we upskill 5 million Nigerian youth and place 3 million of them in 5 years. So that means we've been partnering with different institutions, different schools, different state governments to make this possible. So our job is basically to upskill them and put them through the right, what they need to know about the key soft skills, what they need to know, the necessary skills that are needed for them to gain employment and to maintain employment. So that's what Jobberman Youth Engagement is about, and Jobberman.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Damilola. I will come back to you. Mr. Taufik, thank you for joining us this morning, sir. Are you there, sir? Mr. Taufik?
I'm with you.
Okay, thank you for joining us. I was motivated by your philosophy when I went through your platform of having been built by the community, you know, that no matter what you become today, we are all products of one another. I really am motivated by that. So thank you for coming again.
Thank you so much.
Yeah. Mr. Taufik, please, in your experience as an employer so far, how strong is the correlation between students' educational qualification? I mean, what they come out with 2-1, first class, and career growth. How strong is the correlation between these two?
Well, thank you very much for the opportunity to contribute here also. I want to say that academic success is only a differentiator. Okay, it separates some from the others, but does not necessarily put others down. Or, for example, if you come up with a first class and some other person comes out with a 2-2. Personally, maybe as an employer, you want to get the first class because it seems more intelligent, but it doesn't really guarantee the performance on the job because it only validates knowledge, but it does not. The only thing that guarantees success and career development is the level of skill set. Okay, and career development is a continuous thing across different organizations. So how you're able to excel in your career is a function. It's your smartness, your knowledge is a role, but it's more of a function of how well you put in the work and also develop yourself, and the way the organization also helps you, to develop as an individual.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Taufik. I like that point made last about how organizations develop individuals. I'm going to come back to that question. But before then, I want to ask this direct question, Mr. Taufik. Considering our peculiarities in Nigeria, do you think that the issue of unrealistic expectations contribute to the unemployment rate we have? By unrealistic expectation, I mean some employers, they require an entry role and they are expecting the person to have 5 years experience, and certain age limitations as well. So how realistic, how do you think this is contributing to the high rate of unemployment that we have?
Okay, thank you once again. I don't think any employer would ask a young graduate or a school leaver for 5 years experience. Okay, they may ask for knowledge, they may ask for skills. In roles where employers have stated that they require 5 years experience, they don't want a rookie. Okay, they don't want somebody that is coming to learn on the job. For example, if I decide to, if I'm running a project for CBN, for example, and I need a project manager that has about 5 to 10 years experience, I don't expect a young school leaver to apply for that job. So, but what you see in most cases, and I'm sure the guys in Jobberman can also attest to this, when you put out your advertisements and you require a certain level of expertise, everybody applies, including somebody that gets out of school yesterday, even somebody that's not even served. Okay, I remember when I was still in paid employment and I just started my career. When I look at adverts, I wasn't looking at those adverts to apply, but I was looking at the adverts to understand the requirements of the job market and to properly position myself to acquire those requirements that the job market requires. So I don't think when employers ask for years of experience or certain age limits, I don't think they're being unrealistic. They know what they want as an organization. So, but what I see most is that most unqualified people apply for those roles. And what young graduates should do instead of applying for those jobs is to find ways of interning in organizations. Is a way of acquiring those knowledge. They should find opportunities to volunteer in places where the skill that they need for their career advancement lies. To go and learn, because the more you learn, the more your ability to earn. So for me, I'll say for young graduates, when employers ask for 5 years experience in a certain environment, look at the requirements of the employer. Find an organization where you can go and put in your time and learn those things for free. But when you know it, it's very, very, very impossible for somebody to say, when you have that skill, it's very impossible, whether as an intern or not, it's very, very impossible for somebody to say, because you don't have 5 years experience, you cannot do this job. Thank you.
Thank you. You've really done well for this question, because it's part of the myth that we want to clear, and you've done justice to that. Thank you very much, Mr. Taufik. I will come back to you in a bit. Dr. Unisa, so looking at the current situation that we have in Nigeria, where do you see our Nigerian universities in the next 5 years, considering the fact that there are open universities everywhere? I'd rather stay in Nigeria and do an online course abroad than spend my money in a school that we spend more than 10 years without much value, so to speak. So where do you see us in the next 5 years?
Thank you. I think we need to clarify two things. One, we have to understand that the university system is divided into two now, public and private. So talking about the next 5 years, are we talking about public universities or private universities? The next 5 years, the public universities might not be doing very well, because if you look at the situation now, the university has been shut since March. And what are the issues? It's about funding. The private universities just resume because they can afford fees. They are running on a private sector model. So, as a whole, our university system, I don't want to be pessimistic, but we have a long way to go. For instance, the university system, the public university system, requires about 1.1 trillion naira to get fixed. The government agreed sometimes ago on a yearly basis, they will be injecting 200 billion into the university system. They did it once, and it was quite impactful. If you go to most of the university, most of these complaints is not as if people don't have the skills or they don't know what to do, but the equipment to work with are not. I know a number of our colleagues. I studied abroad. I studied in the UK. I know what I saw. I know what the ideas are. But coming back to Nigeria to lecture in our universities, most of those things are not there, particularly those in engineering and the sciences. So if the public universities are not well funded, if the capacity to access university are not enhanced, then there will be challenges in the next 5 years. For the private universities, there are lots of opportunities in the next 5 years, particularly with the new normal COVID experience. If they can invest heavily in digital resources, there will be more access. They will be more visible to the global world. Enrollment will not be limited to Nigerian students. Then they can actually scale up. But if you look at access, enrollment, how many people can actually afford private university, considering our youth population that are seeking admission in the university? So, as a country, what is our strategic plan in the next 5 years for the university? Do we have one? Go to countries like India. India, they have a strategic plan for their university system. And they follow that plan on a yearly basis, that they implement all the items in the plan, and you can see with their huge population, they are actually moving up. The same for China. So the next 5 years may look too gloomy. So we need to really work as a people, both the private sector and those of us in the university system. We cannot continue to wait for government. There is a need for a kind of roundtable endowment, industry, university collaboration to invest in the university, because the product of those universities are still coming to the industry and to work in government. So if they can collaborate as partners, the next 5 years may be better.
Okay, Doctor, thank you. The last question before we go to the questions from the audience. Okay, these issues we have highlighted are all systemic problems that may seem beyond our own power, of course, as individuals. But there are also some individual elements that are problems in the university sector, whether private or public, and that is the issue of corruption. You know, the concept of cash for marks. We've had so many reports. So how is that being tackled in your area? And is it, since you've dissected into public and private sector now, is it found much in your area or not? And how can we avoid this?
Well, thank you for asking that question. It's just unfortunate that we have found ourselves as a people in this kind of situation. The first question is, there are a lot of people in the university system, whether private or public, who don't have business in the university. Because for you to be an academic, yeah, the expectation is very, very high. We call ourselves locus parentis. You cannot be a parent and be exploiting your children. So why do you need, if you take education to be sacred, why do you need to give money for marks? And that's why, if you see the employers, that's why they don't respect some grade 2-1, you have the first class. Those are challenges. But how do we solve this problem? To evaluate and assess students, there are several measures of assessment. For instance, in my own class, it's not sufficient for you to just write exam and pass. You must attend classes. You must get 70% of the lectures as a matter of regulation. So there are a lot of tests, there are a lot of assessments, there are a lot of skills you gain. Punctuality, for instance, for me, you need to be punctual in class. What am I teaching you? When you go to the workplace, you must learn to be punctual at the workplace. Time management, discipline. You can't be productive in the workplace if you don't have the right attitude. So if, as academics, as lecturers in the university, we hold on to the true calling, and students that are also in the university, you know, there are so many other students who don't have business in the university. Parents also, they have roles to play. The home front, there are a lot of people, they just want the paper qualification. They are not ready to go through the process. So there are two ways to some of these things. Students ready to pay and lecturers demanding. There's a demand and supply component of it. Some of us that will not go in that part, we are like black sheep and we are too strict for them. So those challenges are there. We are all involved as stakeholders. It's not just lecturers. We are part of the problem. Students are part of the problem. The parents are part of the problem. So the solution is there must be an holistic measure to actually assess students. There must be strong quality assurance that can actually see that students that deserve certain marks get it. Those that don't deserve do not get it. And the university, in a well-structured university, those things are there. Like my university, no single lecturer teach a course. 3-4 lecturers teach a course. So all of us is not likely that we collude to give marks to certain students. Results are taken to the board for presentation. it goes to the faculty, like that, all forms of quality assurance. But it's just unfortunate that we have a system like this.
Yeah.
But we need to do a lot of things to help.
Doctor, thank you very much for that response. So it all boils down to discipline, and we want to encourage all of us to be disciplined, right? So it's very, very important. I'll just go to Mr. Taufik now for his questions before we come back to Mr. Demilola to discuss other issues. Mr. Taufik, sir, are you with us?
I'm with you.
Okay, sir. So we have heard from the academic that people go as far as paying. Are you moved as an employer by certifications or papers? Are you moved in any way?
Where we are as the nation, it's very scary. We have, just like the lecturer, Mr. Unisa, said, we are at a very dangerous place where people will do anything to get a grade because they realize that it's all about the paper. It's all about the certificates. And I'll give you an example. Even in the professional world, when people leave university, for certification, there's a difference between certificate and certification. Okay, for certification, which is supposed to actually certify your knowledge. I'll give you an example. For something as straightforward as PMP, which requires that anybody that wants to sit for PMP should have 3 years experience in managing projects. 3 years non-interlapping experience of managing projects. So that certification is supposed to validate that you have that experience, so that when you bring that certificate to anybody, he knows that this person has certified or satisfied the requirements, not only having the knowledge of project management, but satisfied the requirements of having those number of years experience, hands-on experience for managing projects. But what you see now is, because of the love of money, you see organizations go into universities, do PMP training for people that have not even left university. How would they even have 3 years of managing projects? So they do PMP training for them. As core members or as final year students, they already have PMP. So that is helping them to falsify their eligibility to even sit for that exam in the first place. It's not about sitting for the exams. It's about, do you even have the requirements for doing it? So you will not blame any employer that does not respect certificates, whether it is 2-1, 2-2, or certification. But what most of us do these days is to make sure that you put people in scenario-based environments and hands-on tests to understand whether they can support that certification or the certificate that they claim to have had. Because I also passed through this system over 20 years ago. And I know that as far back as then, people were paying for grades. And still in this same Nigeria, I did my MBA in Lagos Business School. And I realized that even as an executive, because I did modular executive MBA, as an executive, I didn't have a choice but to attend all the classes. If not, I will fail. And when you fail, you repeat that class. LBS won't give you a waiver. Still in this same Nigeria. So, and just like the lecturer said, attendance is one thing, participation is one thing, taking tests and passing exams is another thing. So it's a whole culture of excellence that is missing. It's a whole culture of value. It's a whole culture of morals that has been thrown out of windows. And when people that have bought their papers in school, bought their jobs in civil service, now have the opportunity of being heads of some organization, they see it as a norm that you can pay your way through anything. So it's not that I don't respect people's certificate or certification, but I'll also put you through the rigor of defending what you say you have. And in most cases, we've seen situations where people come out with 2-1, first class, or even certification on the job, and they can't defend it. So it makes it very, very disheartening that you have to put people, even people that have genuinely, gotten this certificate and certification, put them through the rigor of having to prove themselves. When in the first place, those certificate and certification were supposed to be validation of the fact that they know what they have to do. But because of what has happened in the society, where it is, it has become the norm to buy grades, to buy certificates, to buy jobs, it becomes very difficult to separate the chaff from the wheat. Thank you.
Oh, thank you. Thank you so much, Mr. Taufik. You've done so much justice to that question. And I want to believe that we all are getting these facts right. We brought in these prominent people to clear certain myths that we may have regarding employability and employment. So on this note, I want to say, Mr. Taufik, congratulations for your PFMP certification recently. I understand you are among the 800 people all over the world. Are you the 800 or you are 801 now?
Well, I know that. Thank you very much for the kind wish. I know that they are just slightly over 800 globally, and just 8 in Nigeria, which I'm number 7. So, but I don't know my number globally, but I know that it's just over 100. But in Nigeria, we're just about 8, and I'm the number 7.
Okay, before we get your final thoughts, Mr. Taufik, you mentioned something about organizations helping people to develop, and you stressed extensively about excellence and all. You have been working with organizations to strategically groom them to bring them up to standard by your solutions. So how do you want to advise that organizations should help keep their staff? Let me use that word, keep their staff, because one of the problems we are having is turnover. Everybody wants to leave a job, and this accounts for the overall rate of unemployment. So what's your advice on how employers should keep their staff?
Okay, thank you very much. Like you rightly said, there is unemployment, there is unemployability, and there is underemployment. So what you have in most organizations, I'll not say our own organization is perfect, okay? But what you have in most organizations is a situation whereby you could get 2-3 people to do the job of, conveniently. Pay them very good wages to do the job of the 10 people that you've employed and grow them. Because one thing I usually ask people when they want to join our organization is, where are you in your career right now? What do you want? Most employers fail in that regard because we want somebody to work for us. Okay? But in most cases, I tell people, don't work for me, work with me. Okay? Because when you work with me, you're doing what you want to do to advance your own career, and we are also getting the best from you. And most employers are always very scared of investing in people because they think they will leave. But whether you like it or not, when somebody wants to leave, you will leave. But you are better off investing and letting that person see his career growth in your organization than under investing in that person. Because when you invest in that person while he works with you, it creates value for your organization. And when he leaves that organization, he still becomes an alumni of that organization. And I can tell you, perfectly well, some of my my team members have relocated to, Canada, UK, US, but some of them, most of them, are still ambassadors of the organization, even in the places where they are. And I can pick up my call and my phone and say, gentlemen, I need a favor from you. Look at this document. Go through this thing for me. Give me a feedback on it. Because of what? Because of the investment, the right investment you have made in them while they are with you. Because it's about their career. It's not about you as an employer. They are supposed to give a part of what you have invested in them back to you. So it is not about the employer. It is about the employee. Once you make it known to the employee that it's about his career growth, and you show him the path to his growth, and ask him where he wants to be in the next 3 years, in the next 5 years, he will tell you. He will honestly tell you. Some are there to learn from you and start their business or their businesses in the next 5 years. They will tell you. But employers don't ask that question. You tell them what you want them to do for you. You assume that they don't have any plan for their own lives. You are paying them salary, and you don't ask them where they want to go in the next 3 years, where they want to be in the next 5 years. If you don't have that conversation with them, they are going to have that conversation with themselves. And when it is time to go, they'll leave. Sometimes they may not even tell you. But when you have that conversation and say, where do you want to be in the next 5 years? In the next 3 years? What's your career plan? And every year, at the beginning of the year, you are showing each of those employees their career growth. It is very hard for them to leave. And when they have to leave, they will leave amicably, and they will leave as a member of your family. So most employers fail in that regard by having career growth plan, conversation with their employees. It is very, very important, because whether you like it or not, it's their career. And there's nothing, absolutely nothing you can do, whether you improve their career or you don't. They will find their way, and they will have that conversation with themselves. But it is harder for them to leave when you have consistently shown that you care about their career goals.
Thank you, Mr. Taufik. Very wonderful response. That question is deliberate because we may have some employers joining this program, and that's why we are putting that question. I thank you very much for that. The last question, because I'm checking the Q&A session, we don't seem to have any. The last one from you. What is the number one soft skill that you'll be looking at for anybody that attracts you? Not through CV now. You are seeing this person, and what is the first thing that attracts you to the person?
Okay. Number one soft skills is the analytical skills. Okay. I tell people, don't do what you don't understand. The job of an employee is to translate the goal of the employer or the organization into tangible results. Okay, and for you to do that, you need to be able to analyze, whatever task is given to you, create value out of it, not act like zombie. They say, go and do this, you are doing it. You don't know why you're doing it. If you don't know why you're doing what you're doing, don't do it at all. Ask for clarification. So the analytical skill is number one soft skills that, young people need to learn, when developing a career or, or on the job skills. You need to be able to analyze, why am I doing what I'm doing? What does my employer want? How will I get it done? Where should I start? When is it due? Ask, the ability to ask the 5, why, and end with the last H is a very critical soft skill, which every employee needs to to learn, so that at every point in time, you know the value that you're creating and why you're doing what you're doing.
Wow, wow. Thank you very much, Mr. Taufik, once again. Thank you so much. We know, in fact, if we continue, you keep giving us very wonderful responses like this. Before I come to your closing remark for this event, I want to go to Dr. Unisa for his closing remarks, because I couldn't find any question on the Q&A. So I want, okay, hold on, I have one here. Okay. So this is coming for Mr. Damilola. Mr. Damilola, are you with us?
Yes, sir.
So somebody is asking, what are the keywords, for example, that should be on someone's CV to bypass the ATS? I mean, the applicant tracking system.
Okay. So let me explain what the ATS is for people, other people who don't understand what ATS means. So ATS is the applicant tracking system, and the job basically is to filter out the more qualified CVs from ones that are not qualified. So the purpose of the ATS is to pick the right people, right? And it's an application that helps recruiters and employers select the right people according to the keywords and their job description. So what you need to do basically, Mr. Taufik already said something. A lot of people just apply for jobs that are not even in their fields. They just say a job and apply. That's not how a job search should be. It is very important that you know which role you are currently doing, the vacancy you are looking at. Look at the job description, right? It has to fit with what you are currently doing. And your CV has to be tailored to that job description or that particular role you are interested in. It is not enough to just see any job and just apply. You have to be very strategic with your job search, and you have to tailor your CV to the job description you're applying for. Right. So it's not a general thing that every CV has to have a particular keyword. Every CV has to be tailored to the particular job you're applying for. The more you do that, the higher the chance of you getting the interview. So that's the answer to that.
Okay, Mr. Dami, I think it's about training, and if I understand clearly, the whole essence of this program is to get people up to speed regarding employability and so on and so forth. So before you give us your closing remark, just tell us about the program that we are having with Nasfat. I mean,
okay,
about a glimpse of it, then you give us your closing remark.
Okay. So let me quickly talk about the Jobberman soft skills training and what we do. So Jobberman, like I earlier said, partnered with MasterCard earlier this year to try to solve the unemployment problems in Nigeria, right? So the thing is, Nigeria, our unemployment issue is huge. 1 in 4 Nigerians are unemployed. 60%, more than 60% of our population is less than 35 years old, with 5% overall unemployment and 63% youths are unemployed. So what Jobberman did was to do a skill gap analysis to try to understand what are the skills that these employers and recruiters are saying that our young graduates and our employees lack. So what we could find out was we found out some key soft skills that are missing, and some of them are personal effectiveness and time management. How do you manage your time as an employee? Are you self-aware? Do you know what you want as a person, right? How do you regulate your emotions? How do you relate with other people? Effective communication. A lot of people don't know how to communicate to their fellow colleagues, to customers, and and their superiors. Business etiquette. How do you act in a business environment? All these are different from technical skills that you learn in school, right? These are soft skills that are needed for you to do well in your particular job. Employability skills. Many of our graduates, based on what Mr. Muiwa already said, he mentioned that our curriculum is outdated, and it's very true. Many of our graduates don't even know how to write a CV. They don't know the key attributes of a CV. What should be on my CV? They don't know how to write a cover letter. Interview preparation, they don't know that, right? Emotional intelligence. Do I understand my emotions? How do I relate with other people? Am I able to regulate my emotions? Am I able to understand other people's emotions? How do I react to other people and the way they behave, right? Critical thinking and problem solving. Mr. Taufik already mentioned something about analytical skills, and this where critical thinking is also very important. A lot of people, they don't, and the thing is, recently there's been a lot of fake news going around. People can't verify this fake news. They just accept every information they see as face value and accept that this is. You need to be very critical. You need to question some of this information that you see, right? So critical thinking and problem solving skills are also one of the soft skills. And then creativity and idea generation. So these are the key soft skills that we currently offer on our soft skills training, right? And this is something that we'll be doing for some time. Earlier this year, we'll be going around, we went to Kano, we went to Kaduna. The key areas of our project is in Lagos, Kano, and Kaduna, right? And in key focus areas, agricultural industry, technological, and the creative industry, right? And we've been trying to do our soft skills training to try to address the unemployment issues in Nigeria. Earlier this year, we did trainings in Kaduna, but because of the COVID-19 situation, we realized that we need to go digital. We needed to go virtual. So that was why we've been doing our soft skills training on a platform known as Thinkific and Telegram. We are using a blended approach where people can learn on Telegram and watch our trainings on Thinkific. But now we are going to move to Coursera. We are moving to Coursera late this year, maybe by December. We are moving to Coursera, and we're also going to be we are trying different platforms so that people can easily register and learn about these skills. So these soft skills are not just about the technical skills or what you learned in school. The employers and recruiters say there are key soft skills. These are the key soft skills that are needed for our young graduates and to do very well in the workplace. So that's that's the summary of the soft skills training. And if you are interested in soft skills training, you can register with the Jobberman Youth Wing, and they will send your information to us, and then we can enroll you and send you emails and tell you how you can start training. So thank you very much. That's it about this.
Okay, thank you very much, Mr. Damilola. So you have any final words so that we can move to Dr. Unisa?
Okay, yes. So for my final words,
if possible.
Okay, I know the time has gone. So the thing is, I understand things are not easy for everybody, right? Especially the youth. Things are very hard. Over the past few days, which have been very, very depressed, I won't lie. But the truth is, we have to realize that we are the future, and we have to take responsibility of our careers and our lives, basically. So we need to look at how we can upskill ourselves and how we can improve our lives and improve Nigeria as a whole. So so that would be my quick last remark. Because I'm also a young person, so I'm talking out to all the youth out there. You have to, take responsibility of your lives and be more proactive in your career. Yes, so thank you.
Proactive is the word. Thank you, Mr. Damilola. So, Dr. Unisa, any final comments from you, sir?
Okay, thank you. I just want to implore the youth to take responsibility and explore all available legitimate opportunities, both traditional and digital, such that they will become competitive. Also, I want to implore recruiters, captains of industry to partner with universities, higher institutions of learning, so that we have a round table. It disconnects, we must make efforts to close it. The more that we will close the disconnect, the better we close the gap, the better for our society. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Doctor. Mr. Taufik, you have one question before your final words, sir. Somebody asked that you mentioned internship, which is a very critical way to learn. And he's an accountant, according to him, or her, that's applying to some audit firms and some accounting firms, and they tell them outrightly that they don't accept interns. What could be reasons for things like that, and how should that person proceed?
Thank you. They know from different from few places does not entirely mean that every other person will say no to you. Okay, there are other doors that will be open. But I think most people would want to go to the KPMG and the PwCs of this world. Let me give you a secret. If you want to learn, go to a small company. If you want to grow, go to a small company. In a big company, it's just like a factory of furniture where somebody, all he does is just to knock the screw. Somebody, all he does is just cut the plank. All he does is just put the hinges. That is what happens in very big companies. You don't see opportunities end to end. If you really want to learn, you want to grow, go to a small company that is doing very well. Don't go look for a company. Follow a mentor. Look for somebody that is doing well in his small organization that is inspiring you. Go and learn from him, even without any pay. Because the more you learn, the more you earn. You see, the word learn, if you remove L from it, what do you have? You have earn. So, but the problem with young people is that they focus more on where are they paying me more? Where will I get money? But learning comes before earning, because the only thing that keeps you relevant in the job market is not the degree. It is your learning capability, and you should be hungry. At every point in time, you should be hungry for knowledge, because it's the only way, it's the only thing that can stand you out from the rest. Nobody can take away the place of knowledge, whatever you know. So you need to continuously learn, and the opportunities that we didn't have, when we finished our own career, is the internet. Okay, now everything is on the internet. You're asking a young man, do you know Coursera? He will say no. You're asking him, do you know EDX? He says no. So what do you know? These are platforms where you can learn. Even LinkedIn, you can do free courses. The only thing is, when you want to collect your certificates, you have to pay, a token. You can go back and collect that certificate. And you need to learn. You need to be hungry. You need to stay hungry and learn. Find a small company. Find a CEO that is doing what you love to do. Write a letter, a personal letter to him of how much you admire him and how much you want to learn under him. No right-thinking person will deny you that opportunity to learn, even if it's just for 1 month or 2 months. Find somebody in your family that can pay for your transportation. But when you learn, and they know how much value you have added, they'll be the one to tell you to stay, because they need to use your exceptional skills. So first thing is, let people go and intern. Look for every opportunity to learn, because that is what is just going to differentiate you. Be hungry about every platform that you can see to learn. The internet, the social media has made it so easy. And all you need is data on your phone. You can learn anything overnight. Thank you so much.
Oh, thank you so much, Mr. Taufik Gobayeju. We understand the value of your time. Honestly, we understand the value of your time. Thank you for responding to our call. Despite the short notice, I must mention that we have apologized for any inconveniences. I want to thank you so much again for all our panelists. Dr. Unisa, we appreciate you. Thank you very much. Coming from what we have done today, we have not come here to tell us, theoretical parts of life. These are men that they have explored. Somebody working for 20 years and giving us his direct experience. We should really appreciate that. Thank you very much once again, Mr. Taufik. It's nice knowing you in the first place, and it's nice being on this panel session together. So right about now, we are going to invite the membership secretary of Nasfat, in person of Mr. Noibi Kazim, to give his address before we call it a day. Mr. Noibi, are you with us? Walaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Thank you very much, Brano Ibikazim, for that wonderful address of yours. So, just to recap, we are going to send the forms for you to fill. And as per the data, don't be afraid. Our able membership secretary and his team got it covered because we all know we are in the trying times and we're trying to help. So do yourself the good of being registered. For those of us that just joined us, we've been talking with Dr. Unisa Olumiwa from Olabisi Onabanjo University, Agoiwoye, Mr. Damilola Udubanjo from Jobaman, as well as our CEO in the house, in person of Mr. Taufik Babayeju. Thank you very much for joining this program today. Endeavor to register your attendance on the links that are being shared in the chat session. Without further ado, we've come to the end of the program, and I would like to invite the HOD of Nasfat Youth Wing, in person of Alaji Abdul Kudus Olayiwola, to give us the opening prayer. However, before we do that, I would like to appreciate every one of us who has contributed in one way or the other towards the success of this program, from the back end, starting from our BOT, down the leadership arm of NASFAT. We appreciate you, Jazakumullah khairan. all those that are giving us opportunities, the YNEC members led by Brother Kabir Raji, we thank you for your this opportunity to plan and execute this program. The ESS Series 3 team entirely, thank you very much for your wonderful sacrifice. And of course, the whole program will be of no use if the attendees were not here in the first place. So all the participants, the attendees, we thank you for joining us this morning. Thank you very much, and we do hope that you take some benefits from this program. So, Brother Abdul Qudus Olayiwala, kindly give us the closing prayer. Brother Abdul Qudus, are you still with us? Okay. Brother Yusuf Muhammad, give us the closing prayer so that we can run up.
صلوا على النبي الكريم اللهم صل على سيدنا محمد وعلى آل سيدنا محمد كما صليت على سيدنا إبراهيم وعلى آل سيدنا إبراهيم في العالمين إنك حميد مجيد ربنا آتنا في الدنيا حسنة وفي الآخرة حسنة وقنا عذاب النار وقنا عذاب القبر وقنا عذاب يوم القيامة يا رب العالمين ربنا إننا آمنا فاغفر لنا ذنوبنا وكفر عنا سيئاتنا وتوفنا مع الأبرار ربنا آتنا من لدنك رحمة وهيئ لنا من أمرنا رشدا ربنا آتنا في الدنيا حسنة وفي الآخرة حسنة وقنا عذاب النار سبحان ربك رب العزة عما يصفون والسلام على المرسلين والحمد لله رب العالمين